turned around and I said, "The did you just say to me?" And I see the attacker masked, and he said, "This MAGA country punches me right in the face." So I punched his ass back, and then we started tussling. You know, there was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back, and then it just stopped, and they ran off, and I saw where they ran, and the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out, and it was sitting there, and my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, "Brandon," and he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I was just jumped." And then I look down and I see that there's a rope around my neck.
Okay, Brandon, why do you think the story makes no sense?
I mean, come on now. You talk about in Chicago, negative 20-degree weather, you got some guys, you know, spewing out racial epithets with MAGA hats on saying MAGA country. It makes almost zero sense. And as a former police officer who's done hundreds of investigations of crimes similar to this, his story makes no sense. Inconsistent articulation of what happened. Like, for instance, he says the fight, it just stopped. When people are kicking your butt because they hate you, they're not going to just randomly stop fighting you and walk away. Those things are not consistent with the behaviors of victims of hate crimes and also someone who actually want to get something done.
Darren, the allegation was that they hurled racial epithets at Smollett. Everyone's black involved, allegedly. Does that make sense to you or not?
Well, you got to take in consideration when someone is the victim of a crime, it's a horrific experience. And oftentimes they don't see things the way someone that's not the victim of a crime would see it. And coupled with there being an assault. Here, when we look at the statements, he's been somewhat surreptitious in terms of the documentation he introduced in connection with his phone records. Your phone is a very sacred thing. He may not want to introduce his contacts or his communications, or if there's a medical issue, to police. I understand that. But going back to the situation in terms of did this happen, I genuinely believe that a crime did occur. However, it's difficult, and we're still getting through we're still getting through the evidence to determine what in fact did occur.
Right, because there clearly were physical injuries involved.
Exactly.
You mentioned the phone. I want to play you guys tape. This is his explanation about why he has not handed his phone over to investigators, because, you know, the story was that he was on the phone with his manager during the actual attack. Let's listen to what he said.
They wanted me to give my phone to the tech for 3 to 4 hours. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because I have private pictures and videos and numbers.
Brandon, are you sympathetic to that explanation or not?
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, if I was investigating this crime and I see a person who's been beat up and has been a victim of a hate crime, and you are refusing to give your phone to investigators to find these suspects because of those excuses, I find it not credible at all. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't believe anything he says, and that was one of the starting points.
Darren, what do you think?
I mean, I disagree. I mean, I was a lieutenant in the NYPD. I had a detective squad that I commanded, and I can tell you firsthand, oftentimes you will get information that may seem to be all over the place, but the truth of the matter is a credible investigation is going to uncover a lot of this stuff. We don't just have to go with what he introduces. We're going to expand the video. Initially, when this happened, there was a camera that was pointed in the opposite direction. If we didn't get anything there, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep expanding the video so we can see who came to that particular location. We may dump the cell phone tower, but the truth of the matter is it's an amalgamation of different components of material evidence that'll make us gain that assessment as to what happened or what didn't happen. Case in point, the inconsistency, whereas it was a white and then the Make America Great hat, and then there was
well, you know
individuals.
what, that can't be all on Smollett, because